Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Raeann, but you can call me Ray. I've been waiting for this moment since they started teasing that they were coming out with another palette. So if you don't know this already, Sugarpill came out with their capsule collection palette. So they started with the pink edition, and then they kind of started hinting that they were going to add more to it, going to keep expanding and do more like additions to it. So the first one was called C2, or the pink edition. So they kind of started like hinting that they were adding more, and here she is. This is the second addition to this new, I guess you can call it like line that they're coming out with. So the capsule collection palettes. This is C2, and what's different about this one is it's actually like an Ulta exclusive, so you can only, well, you can buy it on their website and you can also buy it at Ulta, but as far as retailers go, you would only be able to either buy it on their website or buy it at Ulta. So hence, this is why it's Ulta Orange, which I totally didn't pick up originally, and then I finally started reading the description and I was like, I get it. I totally get it now. Anyways, this is the outside of it. It does retail for $42 just like the other one. If you are not familiar with the first edition, it's this one right here, and I love this palette so much. Since I got it, I only use this palette and maybe a couple other ones, but when I'm thinking of like sitting down playing with makeup, I'm thinking of using this palette here. Like, I feel like I'm addicted to it. Anyways, this is what the inside of the first edition looks like. Now let's go ahead and get into the new palette. So this is the outside, and then of course on the back you can see all of the shades, which is super helpful and super cute. You can also see the shade names too, which is pretty helpful because they don't have them inside the palette. It's just on the back. So it's cool that you can actually still see what they're named. I was gonna say numbered, but what they're called. Okay, so this is the inside. I'm struggling so hard to figure out what palette like draws me in more because I love both of them individually so much, like color story wise. This palette is so gorgeous. Like, I know I saw a lot of people say stuff about how it was too neutral for them, but honestly I feel like it balances out really nicely, and I feel like this color palette just makes sense for it being like an Ulta like collab, so to speak. So anyways, this is the inside of the palette, and I guess since I have the other one right here, we'll just show you. But the top one is the, oh, that looks kind of cool. The top one is the first one, and then the bottom one is the newest palette, so C1 and then C2, awkwardly trying to point with my pinky. Anyways, these are the two palettes, so they're set up exactly the same. They both have a different blush color that you can use. I for sure see myself using the blush in the second edition more than the other one. I did try to use it, the one in this one, the first time. Didn't work out for me. So let's go ahead and get into the swatches because I know you are totally ready for me to start swatching them. So we're gonna start from here and then just go down. I guess I will just show you guys or tell you guys the shade names as well. So this first shade is Side Eye. This one just doesn't seem to want to swatch out very well. So we're just gonna leave that. I'm not sure how much better I'm gonna be able to get that swatch anyways. It is also a lighter shade, so okay, so let's go ahead and go into the other shades. So ooh, that's really pretty. So this is Elevate. That one swatched out really nicely. Then the next shade is, wow, okay, this shade is totally not what I was expecting, but this is the shade Moonshine. Okay, that is so pretty. There's a ColourPop shadow that kind of reminds me of this one, like that it's kind of similar to it with like the iridescence of it, but I love, if you guys didn't know this already, I love shades that have shifts in them, like any sort of like shift or iridescence or anything. Like, I love it. So I love this shade already. So then we're going to go into the blush shade, and I totally didn't see what it was called. So I'm going to swatch it and then I'll tell you guys what it's called. So this is Retrograde, and then the next shade is Double Shot. Okay, like double shot, like espresso? Espresso? Why did I say espresso? Okay, well, not the greatest swatch on my part, but we'll just keep going. The next shade is Youngblood. Alright, and the shade that I think everyone has been waiting for, this gorgeous blue shade. So this is Skyrise. Hold on, let's just take a second, so this is Skyrise. Why did I swatch that so far apart? So, hold on. What shade is this? This is called Insomniac. So, wow. Okay, so Skyrise and Insomniac were like two of the shades that I was like, those are gorgeous. And also the yellow shade that I don't know what it's called yet. Let me flip this back over. So, Metro is what it's called. Just Metro. Okay, so Insomniac. Wow, this is a very pigmented yellow. I just have so much love for any pigmented like matte shades, like neon greens and yellows and all of that. Like, I love them so much. Okay, so, and then this is the last shade. The only thing that I don't like about the packaging is that, like, I have to flip it over to be able to see what the shade is called, which doesn't really matter unless you're swatching it. Any other time, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, but okay. So this is everything. Let me show you, or let me tell you guys the last shade is Karma. So look at how pretty these are. These are so pretty. Like, I can't wait to swatch this palette and the other one next to each other because I'm totally doing that. And I will be posting that on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and do that. It is linked somewhere down below, like at the end of my little bio thing. If you guys ever even read that, I don't know. So let me see. I do just want to look at this really fast before I kind of start talking about everything, because it's kind of hard for me to see like from here how everything's swatched out sometimes. So yeah, the darker matte shades do seem a little bit patchy. Everything else seemed to swatch out pretty nicely. The first shade was kind of hard for me to swatch out. It didn't look like, kind of just felt like it was like falling off. Not like falling off, but like it was super pigmented at first, and then I'd try to like swatch and then just kind of faded away. I'm not super worried about how everything's swatched for the most part. I mean, if you look at these closer, I feel like everything swatched out pretty good. Again, the darker mattes came out a little bit patchy, a little streaky, but for the most part, I'm really not worried about that. That seems to be a pretty normal thing that happens with darker matte shades, regardless of brand. So, and I know I say that a lot, but just bear with me. But overall, everything looks super, super pretty. I'm just so excited that I was able to get this palette, and I'm just excited to see them come out with more. I totally wasn't expecting this palette to come out as fast as it did after the other one, but I'm here for it. Like, I honestly am so excited for it. So while we're still up close and personal, I'll just show you guys. There is a tiny bit of staining, but honestly, really not that bad. Just in case you guys want to know, I mean, with swatches, that just happens. So I don't think you probably wouldn't really have that problem with your eyes, but I mean, again, if I have any of those problems, I'll let you guys know. But so far, I mean, it came off bleh, words. Most important part is getting into this, so I'm gonna go ahead and start my look, and then I will be back. Okay, so I'm back. This is the look that I have so far. I love this color story. Like, I already love this look and everything. Like, I'm not gonna say it's completely done yet because I can be a perfectionist sometimes, and there's some things that I want to like fix a little bit, but so far I love this so far. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. I will probably end up doing this eye a little bit differently than how I did this eye. I just don't know why I always end up doing that. just find a better way of doing things and then go from there. So, I do have a bunch of fallout, or not really fallout necessarily, there wasn't really that much on my face, but kick up in the pan, but that doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna actually start with double shots. So this espresso shade here, and I just want coffee now. I've never wanted coffee more in my life than how much I want coffee right now. Okay, so let's start with that shade. I am gonna do sort of what I call a faux cut crease, so doing everything like you would do for a cut crease, but without the concealer, basically. The other eye, I started with the second shade that I used first, so let's see. Youngblood. Sorry, the way that I worded that didn't really make sense. I started with Youngblood first on the other eye, and because sometimes starting with the darkest shades is intimidating to me, especially with the palette that I haven't used yet, but we're gonna go ahead and say that I'm comfortable with this comfortable with this decision now. So I'm gonna start with this shade and then we'll go into Youngblood. So I'm just gonna clean brush off really fast. I finally got one of these little guys, so I'm just gonna kind of clean that off, and then we'll go into Youngblood. And I literally have the 5 Seconds of Summer song stuck in my head now because of that shade. It's a guilty pleasure, okay? I can't help it. I'm not really embarrassed by it because, I'm just... It is what it is. It's just part of who I am, okay? Okay, so we're gonna go into Youngblood. Might have taken a little too much off of there. Let me know if you guys have a preference of the eyes that, what eye I start with. Does it look better doing it on this side or this side? Does it matter? I don't really know if it matters. I always switch the sides, but I feel like I personally like starting with makeup on my right eye. I'm just so used to doing it that way that I don't usually ever start with my left eye. But if it looks better the other way, just let me know. I don't even remember the last time I filmed that way. It could have been the last video. I honestly don't remember. Also, let's see. So I'm going to go into Retrograde. That's the blush shade in here, but also using this as an eyeshadow because why not? It is a little bit on the shimmery side, so when I put it on I wasn't really sure if that was the best decision, but overall I think it looks pretty good, so we're just gonna keep rolling with that. But something that I wanted to just kind of talk about really fast, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but for all of the stuff that's going on right now, where I live is actually on lockdown, so for the next 3 weeks I will be filming, and my work right now, so I work with a really small company. Right now I'm not working, but they are trying to figure out a way that we can work from home, but it's just something that they've never had to do before. I've never experienced anything like this before in my life, so until then, while I'm not working, I'll be filming and also watching a lot of stuff. So I'm coming up to my point is I started watching Love is Blind. I literally just started as I started filming this. As I was doing this, I was like, I'm gonna start it now. I already love it. I'm literally halfway in an episode and I love it already. I was the type of kid, especially, I don't know if it was high school or middle school. I think it was probably more high school, but I loved those dating shows, like Flavor of Love and Rock of Love with what's his face from, oh my god, was it Poison? I think it was Poison. And then all of A Shot at Love. I loved all of those kind of shows. So of course this show isn't directly like any of those, but so far I'm really invested in it already, and I've literally only started like half of the first episode. So if you're looking for anything to watch, or if you have anything for me to watch, let me know, because I definitely will be watching a lot of things that I wouldn't normally have time for. So let's go ahead and get to this. I'm going to call it our favorite part, which is the glitter primer part. If you haven't watched my videos before, when I do looks like this, if I'm not using concealer and actually trying to do like a full cut crease or anything, I take glitter primer. I like the one from NYX, so this one right here. It's a little used, so excuse its appearance right now. I take a little bit of that on a flat brush, put it on the back of my hand, and then pick it up with the brush. And then from there, I kind of mimic where I would normally cut my crease out. Try to like do the shape the best I can as well, because the shadow is gonna stick better to where I put the primer down. And the one thing too, like, I'm sure you could use these shadows without glitter primer, but when I'm doing a look like this, I really want to do the glitter primer because that's kind of how I can get more of a structure. So of course you don't have to do that, you can just use concealer or whatever you want to do, but I've been liking this technique because I feel like it is a lot easier. So I feel like I want to like just put a hashtag every time I like start a hashtag where it's like lazy girl beauty or something, because really like that's how I identify like my beauty routine sometimes, is like, yes, I want the full effect, but I also want like the fastest way of doing it, you know? Is anybody else like that? I mean, I don't mind sitting here and doing my makeup for hours. I actually love doing that, but at the same time, like, if there's an easier approach to then like putting concealer on my lid, then I'm gonna do it, especially with looks like that. So anyways, rambling. I'm gonna pick up the, hold on, shade Insomniac. So this really pretty, is it Chartreuse? Is that the shade? Is that what I'm calling it? Who knows? Or I guess that's what I'm calling it, but I'm not sure if that's right. So then I'm just going to use, the reason why I decided to use a brush like this is just so I can try to get the shape that I want a little bit easier. Of course, I feel like it's definitely a lot less structured than fully cutting out your crease, but I do feel like it still gives a pretty effect. And this shade is so pretty, by the way. Like, I knew I was going to, like, see, this is hard to, like, review and talk about something that you already know that you were going to love. Like, I already knew I was going to love this. I'm literally just proving myself right. Like, I knew I was going to love this. But this shade is absolutely gorgeous, and so far I haven't had any problems with this palette or the other one. This is, of course, my first time using this palette, but assuming that they're using the same formulas and all of that, I wouldn't expect this one to be, you know, anything less than amazing, because I love the first one. Alright, so basically what I do from here, and I'm probably just gonna not show it because it's a little bit faster that way. Of course, I want it to be deeper around this part in here, so I'm going to go in with the other shades we started off with. So Double Shot and then Youngblood. I'll start with Double Shot, get it a little bit closer to this green shade, really make it deeper, try to like mirror this one, and then go in with Youngblood and kind of blend everything out, and then of course follow that with Retrograde. Then that's kind of how the rest of this eye is gonna go. I think what I'll do is just show you guys what I do after those steps, and then I'll finish up the rest of my makeup. And basically I'll take those matte shades and kind of blend them into here, because like right in here I don't really have any product. so I'll blend them in. One thing that I wanted to mention, when I started this look, I did want to do a couple of the other shimmers, but I really liked how this green was looking by itself. So I did try to use Elevate, so this more pinky shade, and then a little bit of Moonshine. So these two, oh my god, these two. Why does this look so awkward? I was trying to like blend those into this and then decided just to cover it up and put Insomniac over that because I just felt like it looked a lot better. So I just use Insomniac and just try to blend it into the darker matte shades, and I feel like that looks pretty good. So I just like mentioning that stuff. And then I do use Retrograde under here, and then also the Skyrise shade right in here. I'll show that because why not, but I do want to mention that I was going to use this yellow shade under my eye, but as I started doing it, I just didn't like the color combination as much. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this look. So we'll start with the Retrograde shade. Alright, and then from Retrograde we'll go into Skyrise, and of course this shade is absolutely stunning. I just love this combination too, with the blues and greens and yellows, and then the more neutral shades. Like, I think this palette is absolutely gorgeous. But this shade is super pretty, super pigmented. I was going to flip the shades and have the blue shade and then the green shade, but I actually quite like this combo the way it is. Okay, perfect. And let's see, I didn't deepen up the look, so I think what we'll do is go in with Youngblood and bring it closer to the lash line. Okay, and then from Youngblood we'll go into Double Shot. I still want coffee. And then Double Shot will just go on the outer part, but in the same area. Okay. So I'll go ahead and finish that up on the other eye off camera. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup. Probably finish that episode of Love is Blind because I need to know. So I'm going to finish up my makeup. I will be back to show you guys what everything looks like and then talk about the palette. Okay, I'm back. This is the finished look. So let's go ahead and talk about the details of this palette. So as far as formula goes, I feel like it's the same quality that you get with the first one, so that's always reassuring. Not to say that they would change the formula at all, but it's consistent with the first one. So, you know, if you guys don't already know this, you know now that I love this palette. I absolutely love this palette. So that's basically the same feels with this one. Like, honestly, I also love this palette so much. I'm excited to use these both together as well. Like, obviously, of course, using this one separately by itself, I will probably do a 3 looks 1 palette with this. I just love this color story. It's super fun. I like that there's neutral, like, capabilities. Does that make sense? Capabilities? There's a neutral side to it and also a more colorful side. You can go full on just color, or you can mix the two together, which I feel like this look does pretty well. It does have the neutral elements, but also still has the colorful elements as well. And I think that's what makes this one so fun, is if you are not super comfortable with bright colors and a lot of colorful looks, but it is something that you are interested in, I feel like this palette would definitely be a good introduction to it, because you can also just do neutral looks and then just add a little bit of color into it if you'd like to. Just kind of get a little bit more warmed up with adding more color to your looks if you're not normally used to that, I mean, I feel like this would be a really good addition for you. For this one, I mean, we're not going to really spend too much time talking about this one, but it is very colorful, so I could see why, you know, if people weren't super comfortable with picking this palette up, that they would like this one because it does have those pops of color with also having those neutral options, so it's something to kind of warm you up to using more color. So, like, just look at how beautiful both of these are. Like, I love both of these. Like, I'm not even gonna play around. I'm already gonna say that I love this palette. Like, I have the same feelings for this one as I do with this one. I don't know what color story now that I like better. Like, I really can't decide what one I think I like better. Like, I really can't. I think that they're both great palettes. This video is mainly on this one, so I will say that this did not disappoint me at all. The shimmers were absolutely gorgeous. I did actually play around with the other shimmers in the palette, so I feel like these two, oh, I'm going to do it again. These two that I used earlier that I decided not to include in the look, those were also super, super pretty. Very easy to work with, very pigmented, just gorgeous. Like, I know that I used the glitter glue, but I'm very confident in saying that I really don't think that you need to use the glitter glue. I feel like if you didn't have one, you don't use them very often, I don't think that you would have any problems with getting the right pigmentation out of these shimmers. The mattes were super, super, super easy to work with, very blendable. They all work together so nicely. Like, this palette is a dream. Like, it honestly is a freaking dream. I am obsessed with this color story. I just, like I said, when I saw this, I knew I needed it. I already was like, I made up my mind the second. Like, honestly, no matter what the color story was, I was probably going to buy this anyways because I loved the first one so much that I was like, you know what? It would have to be something that I would never use for me to not pick it up. And at that point, it would have had to be all neutrals that I already have for me not to buy this palette. But it wasn't that. It's absolutely stunning. Like, I'm just going to show you guys one more time because look at how beautiful this is. Like, I'm so excited to keep working with it. I feel the same way with this palette as I did with the first one. It's super, like, it just inspires me. Like, it just absolutely inspires me. I just want to keep using it and keep using it and keep using it. And like I said earlier about this one, ever since I got this palette, it's one of the only palettes that I've been using. Like, when I am doing a full face of makeup, when I'm putting eyeshadow on, this is going to be one of the palettes that I'm thinking of using, like, hands down. This is also, it's going to be the same thing with this one. I'm going to be using this so much because it's just so inspiring to me that I just can't wait to use it again. I can't wait to keep creating with it. I'm so excited. I love this. I can't say anything else. I just love it. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I was thinking of doing a couple different videos, so I was thinking of doing a 3 looks 1 palette with this palette, and then also maybe doing a look with a bunch of different Sugarpill shadows, so using this palette, and then the mini palette that they have, because I have all 3 of them, so, or maybe just using these 2. Like, I just love doing this. This is so entertaining for me. Yeah, maybe even doing a video where I'm using both of these together, creating a look, creating 2 looks, whatever it is. Let me know what you guys want to see because I'm just super excited to keep creating with both of these, but especially this one since I just got my hands on this. So yeah, if you guys liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.